What's up YouTube, DMLX here, and today I'm counting down my top 10 most wanted suits for Insomniac's Spider-Man sequel. Because believe it or not, there's still a lot of cool Spider-Man suits that didn't make the cut in the first game. And after the release of the upgraded Night Monkey suit from Spider-Man Far From Home being implemented into the fastest selling first party video game release in Sony's history, I think it's safe to say we won't be getting any more Spider-Man content from Insomniac until the next game is announced, whether as a launch title for the PS5 or even released a year later after the console's launch. So, with that being said, let's get off the countdown. Swinging in at number 10 are the suits from the Amazing Spider-Man duology starring Andrew Garfield. That's right, I want both basketball head and big googly eyes to make an appearance. Personally, I prefer the inclusion of the suit from the first Amazing Spider-Man movie, not because the suit looks the best, but rather that the suit having a more unique design compared to the one in the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Even though this version of Spider-Man isn't the most beloved compared to the Raimi trilogy or the MCU portrayal of the Wall Crawler, I still think this version deserves some love and recognition for trying to set up a larger universe within the Spider-Man mythos. Keyword, tried.
We knew you could do it!
Shooting in at number 9 is the SpiderAssassin. Now this version of Spider-Man is not a friendly neighborhood hero. Seeing that in his universe, this Spider-Man is not against killing his adversaries and became an assassin working alongside Wolverine. And even has hidden guns attached to his web shooters, taking foes out like Ezio in Assassin's Creed 2. Now that I think about it, that would actually make for a pretty good suit power, but then again, guns aren't really Spidey's style because, you know...
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Also, fun fact, the costume is said to be inspired by an unused Spider-Man concept art design by Alex Ross for the 2002 Spider-Man film, and I can see the resemblance. Dropping in at number 8 is the Spider-Man from House of M. Not much is different about this version of Spider-Man aside from Uncle Ben being alive in this universe, due to Peter tackling the burglar escaping past him who robbed the wrestling owner and would have been the one to kill Uncle Ben if Peter didn't make the selfless act. In terms of the suit itself, it represents an interesting take on how the spider symbol is part of the red and black webbing area, covering both the front and back of the costume. Personally, I think this is a solid design for the character that manages to implement a nice balance of simplicity and slight alterations that manage to stay true to the traditional Spider-Man design. Flying in from Mumbai at number 7 is SpiderMan India. This version of Spider-Man I believe represents one of the first major ethnic changes for the character. But aside from the ethnicity change and attire to match the cultural setting, what I find most interesting about this particular Spider-Man is how he got his powers. While being chased by the other kids, Pativar, which is the Spider-Man from India, encounters an ancient yogi who gives him the power of the spider, used to help fight the evil that threatens the world. Which is kind of like a ripoff of Shazam, but let's be real, getting bit by a radioactive animal to obtain superpowers is so played out. Orbiting in at number 6 is Cosmic Spider-Man, or as I like to call him,
Spider-Man in space!
Probably the most powerful version of Spider-Man on this list. I'm actually surprised this suit didn't make the cut in the first game at launch, or even as DLC. In this universe, Spider-Man is powered by the Enigma Force, that not only enhances genetic abilities, but also gave Spider-Man cosmic level powers as well, such as energy manipulation, flight, univision, and even molecular change. Pretty much making Spider-Man a god! Granted, none of these abilities would probably be adapted into the actual game as a suit power, but at the end of the day, it's a video game. So if I was head of Insomniac, I would say, fuck it, give Spider-Man some goddamn energy blast! Gunning in at number 5 is Blood Spider. Now what's interesting about Blood Spider is that he was trained by Taskmaster, alongside Jagged Bow and Death Shield to mimic Spider-Man in order to kill him. There are a couple of variations of the Blood Spider costume, but I personally like the black and red design. 1, it looks more badass, and 2, it fits the name better. Also, one of the more interesting design choices for the character are his web shooters. Blood Spider's web shooters are attached to what appears to be tubing from his wrists to a backpack style device. Doesn't seem very practical in a fight, but a unique take on the web shooters nonetheless. Kinda like those proto sabers from Star Wars. Glad those didn't catch on. Coming in at number 4 is the Ben Reilly version of Spider-Man. We got an amazing recreation of Reilly's Scarlet Spider suit in the first game. Now I want to see Reilly's Spider-Man suit fully realized by the team over at Insomniac. The way the black spider wraps around the body with a good balance of blue and red around the arms and legs, as well as keeping the exposed web shooters, maintaining that one element of the OG Scarlet Spider intact. Posing in at number 3 is Japanese Spider-Man. Well, seeing that Penny Parker isn't a plausible option as an alternate costume, why not go with the next best thing, and that's the Spider-Man from the Japanese 1978 live-action series. If you ever wondered what it would be like if Spider-Man was part Super Sentai, well, this is it.
地獄からの使者スパイダーマン
He's got everything a Japanese hero could ask for. A flying car, a spacecraft, a unique catchphrase. Oh, and he's got a giant f***ing robot! The runner-up on this countdown is Spider-Man from the SpiderMan Unlimited animated series, which ironically only had one season. But hey, nothing lasts forever, so it's all good. Personally, I love the new suit Spider-Man wears on the show. It reminds me of the 2099 suit, but looks less demonic and more like, well, Spider-Man. Oh, and Spidey's rocking a webbed cape. And it actually looks good on the web slinger, with the base of the cape being torn up, giving Spidey a bit more edge to his overall look. Not to mention the potential of the suit power being able to go invisible, which would be a nice addition to the gameplay in terms of combat and stealth missions. Now, we all know how Edna Mode feels about superheroes with capes.
April 23rd, 57. Cape caught in a jet turbine. China guy, snag on takeoff. Splashdown, sucked into a vortex. No capes.
And she's got valid points. But I think certain heroes that normally don't wear capes can make an exception to the rule, and Spider-Man is one of them. And last but certainly not least, at number 1, the superior Spider-Man. This version of Spider-Man is when Otto Octavius takes over Peter Parker's body and decides to take over Peter's role as a superhero. As such, Otto takes liberties in redesigning the suit, switching the blue to black and altering the design of the back Spider logo, belt, gloves, boots, eyes, etc. Personally, I think this suit should have been part of the first game, seeing that Octavius was the main villain of the story, but I'm sure when the sequel rolls around, I think the chances are high for the superior Spider-Man suit to make an appearance in the game due to the suit's popularity and high demand from fans. Plus, having those spider arms and laser beams as the suit power would be badass. So just think in the comment section down below, what suit that didn't appear in the first Insomniac Spider-Man game would you like to see appear in the sequel? If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to hit that like button, it really helps me out. Subscribe for more content from me on Spider-Man and other games in general. I'm DMLX, I'll see you in the future.